Situation last night. Bryce Underwood flips to the Michigan Wolverines. Adam Schefter had the announcement. Bryce Underwood with a pretty darn cool Instagram post to kind of announce that he is going to Michigan. Do we have that?
Yeah.
We have that. Here it is.
It's just a blessing, honestly, Just God. Thank God for all of this. So, yes, sir.
Is when I had an opportunity to talk to him at the Boys and Girls Club event. He was donning the LSU. He was there. Brian Kelly was there. A remarkable young man. And, if you want to compete in college football, Braylon Edwards, you need the best players. And you cannot let the best players in your state, you cannot let the best players within a 20-mile radius of your university to get away. And the University of Michigan got their man.
Yeah, I'm glad you started there. You got to have the best players in your state. I think Sharon Moore is taking it upon himself, and I think he's making that his message. The best players in Michigan deserve to go to Michigan. Mm-hmm. I think so long you've watched some of these players, these five-star quarterbacks, these five-star running backs, whether it was Mike Weber, whether it was Dante Moore. You've seen players just leave the state. You got this school that's right up the road. Why when you come? It's because they never made the emphasis on Detroit players, Michigan metropolitan players. I think now that's what you're saying. And also they're letting you know we got that bag.
Let me do this because I think that's an important conversation to have, and I absolutely want to have it as a secondary conversation almost after who Bryce Underwood is as a player and what the University of Michigan is going to get as a player. I was watching some of the highlights. You were at the game. Were you at the
last Friday at Catholic Central?
That's what did it.
Yeah.
That's what did it.
I'm telling you.
He saw you.
No,
I told you, sign a jersey for the guy. Yeah, you listened. That's good, man.
I think it's that extra 1.5 that they came up with, taking it to a total of 12, but that's neither here nor there. He's special. He's something different. He's something that you've never seen at the University of Michigan. I love J.J. McCarthy, but just talking about the measurables from top to bottom, I don't think Michigan's seen a player like this, and he's right down the street from you. What he's going to be able to do, now you get other players coming. Now it's for the culture. You're going to get a guy that'll be able to do the things you see the best ones do. But now it's about coaching.
Can he coach? I'm not joking.
Listen.
I'm talking about offensive coordinator.
You're right. And there's so many different aspects to get to. But, yes, I do believe Bryce Underwood has saved Sharon Moore, the Sharon Moore tenure at the University of Michigan. That's what Bryce Underwood has done for me. Bryce Underwood has made the University of Michigan football program cool again. Bryce Underwood has made the University of Michigan football program an elite football program in America once again. There are very few of them. There are very few of these Bryce Underwood type players in the country. We talked about how Ohio State has the number 2 ranked player in the country playing quarterback for them. We've now got the number 1 player in the country playing for us. That storyline alone, Michigan, Ohio State for the next 3 years, it's going to be fantastic. I believe this impact that Bryce Underwood has already made on Michigan football is immeasurable.
Yeah, I wish we were starting from where Ohio State is starting from in that battle, but just getting back to Bryce Underwood and who he is. Michigan's had a 5-star quarterback, but man, as you know, it's not hard to get a 5-star rating, and I'm not trying to disrespect anyone because I was a 3-star.
He's a high school kid.
This is not 3-star.
He's the highest rated quarterback since Ryan Mallett.
But that's what I was going to say in terms of just being a 5-star quarterback. Anyone can get a 5-star quarterback rating. It doesn't matter. We've had 5-star quarterbacks here, and how have some of those guys turned out? They've been like, man, some of them transfer. You don't necessarily see it. This is the number 1 player overall. Right. That's the number 1 quarterback. This is very different. ESPN doesn't typically get that wrong. You can start going down the list of number 1 players that were quarterbacks off ESPN. A lot of national championship in there. A couple Heisman trophies here and there. So to have the number 1 player, I think that's what we need to focus on more. Not the number 1 quarterback. You got the number 1 player that's playing quarterback. This is almost like when you got Drew Henson. And I think he's a better quarterback than even Drew Henson was, at least in high school.
Does he start next year right off the bat?
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
This is if you're going to convince me that this is the new era, he got to start right away. I don't need.
How about the kid that's already been waiting all year?
He's transferring.
He's gone, and it's just a harsh reality of what college football is today. There is no competing. There's no competition. Bryce Underwood is not here to compete. Bryce Underwood is here to be the starting quarterback in spring ball. Day one. Handed the job. And you say handed the job. Yes, you are the quarterback here. There is no competition. There's no quarterback competition. We're not going to see how you do it. That is just where we are in college football today. And, if you want to have the conversation right now, we can do it. I've talked to a bunch of people over the last 24 hours that is like, man, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, 12 million, 10 million, 8 million, 2 million, 1.5 million, whatever the millions is. Yeah. Man, I don't know. It's just makes me feel kind of like, I'm like, grow up, man.
Right, it's how the game is played.
You have to live in the year you're living in. And right now, last I checked, this is 2024 where high school athletes get paid to go to college. You cannot put the toothpaste back in the tube. It's out forever. It is out for the time being. Will there be some sort of regulation in the future? Will there be some sort of salary cap? Will there be some sort of anything? Sure, fine. But Michigan football is a multi-billion-dollar business. If you want to peel off $1 million, $2 million, $3 million a year to have a good football team, that's what you've got to do to have a good football team. I am here for it. I don't love it. It's not the greatest thing in the world to me. I loved college football when it was for the quote-unquote love of the game.
Pure.
But that game is gone.
It's gone.
If you want to be on board with 2024 football, you have to do what you got to do. You could be Michigan and do this, or you could be Michigan State and have no program whatsoever. They have no NIL. They have nobody. Who's the basketball? Ishbia?
Yeah.
He's not coming to save them anymore. He did that once. He's not doing it again.
You don't think he will?
Yeah, I mean, he's not.
How about Tom Gores?
Nobody's got
Gilbert.
Nobody's got anything in place right now at Michigan State University.
They will.
So maybe they will, but maybe they won't. I'm just saying, Braylon, I'd rather be Michigan right now in 2024 than a team like Michigan State.
That's funny. Spartans caught a stray right there.
Right.
I absolutely.
Well, it's the truth.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Two things can be true. They caught a stray, and it's true.
That's a studio audience.
What you'll see about this is NCAA made the rules where they allow colleges to pay their players or have systems in play just to pay players. It didn't have to be some type of NIL deal or some type of working student school, blah, blah, blah. They made it so that you can just come out and give a player a bag of money, he'll come to your institution. You know what they did, man? This little 12 playoff teams that they put in place that sounded so good, which is going to go to 16, I guarantee
eventually,
you in 2 years.
It might go bigger than that.
It's still not going to matter because now that you can do this, who's going to win? It's still going to be the Blue Bloods. Who has the most money? Texas has the most money. Georgia has the most money. LSU has the most money. Michigan has the most money. So it's taking it right back to where we've been with the illegal stuff. The bigger teams, the bigger brands, the money dogs, they're still going to win these situations because Iowa can't do this. Minnesota can't do this. Arkansas can't do this. Ole Miss can't do this. Who can do this? Texas, Georgia,
A&M.
Florida,
Alabama,
USC.
Yeah.
Just want to read some super chats that have come in. Dante151, Michigan has to make sure that they get good wide receivers for Bryce Underwood no matter what. Michigan has to start Underwood because you paid him. Freddie Felt 313, I'm singing Mr. Brightside in my drawers right now. G Major says, word out of LSU, they only offered him 1.5. Yo, Braylon, did you get to see Gladiator 2? Saw it yesterday, 7.5. Give me a quick ranking on Gladiator.
For today's time, I like 7.1.
Good. Back to Underwood. Sorry, Matt.
That's all right, bro. Yep. What you guys were saying about pay to play, that's every sport now.
Yeah.
It's very rare a Tampa Bay Rays is going to make it to the end line. I'm talking the pros versus the college. It's all the same now. You spend money, you are going to win. The Dodgers spent the most money, they won.
Yeah.
Whoever spends the most money in football, except if you're the freaking Lions who built I think football's a little different. Mm-hmm. But if you bring in those big free agents, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
You're right.
The NFL has insulated themselves from this type of
baseball. You got to spend to be in it. You really do. You really do.
No doubt.
Hockey. Look at the Red Wings, the old Red Wings, where Ken Holland bought everybody. Mm-hmm. They did. They bought everybody. They had an all-star team.
It's a Hall of Fame team.
It's a Hall of Fame team. You can't. If you don't do that, you're not going to compete. And college football, college basketball, it's the same damn thing.
In a non-salary cap league, the teams that spend the most money will win.
Yep.
Period. End of story.
Yeah.
It's just that is to mix the Tigers in here. That's one of the things about the Tigers. You know, last year the way they were winning, the way they made the playoffs. What was the one thing we said? I don't know if I like this, because then it gives the organization a false sense of security, a false sense of hope that this is how they can win. At the end of the day, the A's never won playing Moneyball. The Rays never won playing Moneyball.
Right.
The Tigers will never win playing Moneyball.
But look who won, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers won. And who else was in there?
The Yankees.
And who else? Who was the second best team in baseball all year long? The Phillies.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
And who came on late? The Mets.
Yeah.
It's just the
Facts.
truth, man.
No, this is real. You definitely have to pay, and the teams that are willing to pay. The only thing that's interesting is like you're going to start having some guys make more than first-round draft picks.
100%.
Like to where we're getting now. Like, and also a lot of these guys are going to be misses.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys they're going to pay his money to are going to be misses, and then that's when it's going to get interesting. How do you collect on that? How do you not pay on that? What's the first team to defraud a player? And now
UNLV this year.
Yep.
Oh,
the quarterback
there you
walked.
go. This year.
There you go.
They
Sure.
did not pay their quarterback, and he's like, bye.
he didn't put it in writing. He's a bonehead. But to your point,
They paid him like $2,000
that's exactly
out of
what
all of
happened.
it. Here's your $2,000 to start. No, I don't want $2,000. I want my million.
no, to what Ryan says, actually, even though it was different, it's the truth. Guys are going to take off. Guys are going to leave. Like, this is
And
It's
you know
NFL
what?
junior.
Braylon, you mentioned something that Nick Saban said a couple of weeks ago on College Game Day. He said you could pay players, but you got to pay the right players.
Yeah.
You got to pay the right players.
Otherwise, you're just going to end up getting fired.
There you go.
Look at Jimbo Fisher. At Texas A&M. How many people believe that Texas A&M was ripe in this NIL market because they got all that oil money down there in Texas, and they just didn't have it. They didn't pay the right players.
This is the first time they've sniffed at playoffs this season, and they're 8-2.
Yep.
But again, it's
Do you think honestly, really think about this?
This is crazy.
This Michigan team that's won 5 games. You think this guy's going to come here and make them a 12-win team?
Yes.
because they are.
How?
They've got 4 first-round picks. The Michigan Wolverines in the 2025 NFL Draft will have 4 first-round picks.
Right.
This is a team without a quarterback. It's not a team without talent. You cannot play football at any level without the quarterback. You cannot play peewee football without a quarterback. You cannot play high school football without one.
You gotta protect
college
them,
in
too.
the NFL.
Yeah.
And they can. And he will also protect himself.
100%. Like, when's the last time you seen Michigan have a guy that can, well, I guess J.J. McCarthy, but he didn't
Not
need
like
to.
this.
But he didn't. I agree, and he didn't need to. This guy down in Belleville that I watched last week, he can create his own space to get passes off. He can extend drives. He can extend plays. He'll help, Maz. I promise you.
And then,
I
man,
promise
you got to look at what it's going to do for recruiting as well. This is only just the beginning.
You already see what's on the market in terms of the couple players that are about to flip and transfer.
Yeah.
2 being a linebacker, 1 being a wide receiver that was committed to LSU.
Transfer portal going to be crazy this year.
Can Sharon Moore coach his game?
That's the next part of this discussion that I think is worth noting. I think Sharon Moore can. I think Sharon Moore can coach it. The question is, can Sharon Moore have a staff that puts Bryce Underwood in the best position to be successful? Because this staff, to me, and I love Ron Bellamy. Ron Bellamy is fantastic. But outside of him, I don't know another coach on the offensive staff that has really done anything.
They haven't.
Really. Outside of Bellamy, there's not a coach on Michigan's staff that really has impressed most Michigan fans. Kirk Campbell, to me, God bless him, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
But no quarterback for the guy.
But no quarterback. I'll give
You can't even really stop on him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have
It's a
anything.
really hard...
But you couldn't make it work with Alex Orji.
Hold on, that's not fair. So we can sit here and criticize Sharon Moore, who doesn't have a quarterback and doesn't have a lot of things, but not extend that same
I
criticism
don't even know
to the
Kirk
offensive
Campbell.
court.
I don't even know what he looks like.
Yeah, but you know what the offense looks like under him. It doesn't matter what you have to figure it out. And this is a Big Ten that wasn't necessarily that good.
Here's why I have faith in Sharon Moore, that what he can do, because he's done it as an offensive coordinator, so he knows exactly what he wants. We know he can cook the meal. We know he can do it in game. He did it against Ohio State. He did it against Penn State. He did it in the Big Ten championship game. We have seen that. But now we have to see him delegate this stuff. It's not you anymore. It's what responsibilities you delegate to other people.
Right.
And in Kirk Campbell, I think there's a lot of question marks offensively regarding that.
At the end of the day, Michigan is a destination now. Two things. I'm talking about for coaches. Two things. One, you got the number one player in the country coming next year in Bryce Underwood, who's the quarterback. You don't think a lot of these offensive coordinators are chomping at the bit to be able to implement their system for Bryce Underwood so that they can show how talented they are behind the number one player? And I think also, too, a lot of offensive coordinators and coaches, they see that Michigan wants to spend the bread. Like if I'm a coach, in this day and age, you want to know that the school you're going to, they spend the bread. Michigan spending the bread, you're going to get the players. It makes it easier to come here as an offensive coordinator because you'll get the talent as well. So I think Sharon will have success because I think coordinators, they want to come coach Bryce Underwood. They want to be a part of it.
This is one of the most fascinating recruits in the history.
Can he start next Saturday?
I wish.
In the history of Michigan football, I think this is the biggest recruit coming in.
He has
him
the
and
potential
Chris
to be.
Webber, maybe.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Chris Webber.
But the fact that you got Chris Webber, like,
Yeah.
You kept him.
That's
you kept
the,
him in the state too.
That's the territory you're in. This is that type of player.
Braylon Edwards. That is a incredible example because what Chris Webber did by bringing everybody.
Yeah.
I think Bryce Underwood is going to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
And this team is going to win. This team is going to win for him.
But I want to say this. Chris Webber, he brought the Fab Five. Michigan football is different than basketball. That's you need an entire team. You need 11 guys on each side of the field. That's just the starters. And this team, to me, is without those 4 first-round picks, has been devoid of talent this year, if you're asking me. The games that they have played this year, I'm not even interested in watching them. How could a team this down
You're not wrong.
go that up?
Great talent is a magnet for other great talent. When Chris Webber came here, now you have the number 7 player in the country, Jalen.